The next one is going to be being more assertive, right? This is kind of the trait that I went ahead and defined um, divine or masculinity with or divine masculinity rather, is with being assertive, right? And assertive is going to look different for every single person and every single different situation that they're in. But you must be assertive. So like let's just say for example, somebody that's close to you is doing something that you don't like, right? Instead of them just doing it and you not saying anything about it, being assertive is saying something about it and trying to fix something if something needs to be fixed. Or yeah, I would say not assertive in not an asshole way because obviously it can definitely get misconstrued when I say being assertive, right? I'm not saying abuse some type of power that you have. I'm saying um, just stand firm in what you believe in, and if there is something that kind of goes against what you believe in, um, make sure you go ahead and say something. Like I said, I'm not saying that to be in the most um, yeah. Don't be a dick about it. Don't be a dick about it. Let's keep it 1,000. But yeah, learn to be more assertive. And if you're a person right now that says yes all the time to a lot of people, that might be in the form of saying no sometimes and doing what you truly would like to do, and maybe even having to deny those people, especially if they're abusing you and abusing your generosity, right? So that is going to be what another element of divine masculinity is going to look like. So the first two that I named are going to be risk taking and getting comfortable with getting comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Along with that, also retaining your masculine energy and like I had mentioned, right, being more assertive in this regard. Which, if you do the first two or three that I'd mentioned, right, it's going to be a lot easier to go ahead and be more assertive because you are automatically going to have that resource of energy, right? That's going to be abundant. And with that being said, you're going to be more inclined to be assertive, right? That just goes along with retaining your masculine energy, your masculine essence, right? Um, yeah, so yeah, I think it's as simple as that. Also, with being in your divine masculine, right? This is also going to be something that I mentioned earlier, which is going to be being focused on a purpose and removing all perceived distractions. Um, yeah, just being grounded in what you need to do and doing it every single day, and having a greater purpose that is bigger than your current situation that you're currently in. And with that being said, doing what you need to do. Simple, right? Everybody knows what they need to do, right? Especially the men that I'm talking to with this podcast, right? You know what you need to do, right? You've learned plenty. I'm sure you've learned plenty if you've been watching this podcast. You've learned plenty, so you might as well go ahead and apply those things. And don't be so frozen within the moment and being curious to know what you should do because most of the time you actually already know what you need to do. It's just a matter of you doing it, and sometimes you're overthinking it, right? And that is kind of how I've been. I would say how I've been. Yeah, I was in the past. I was like that, right? Where I felt like I needed to know more, when in reality I should have just been applying what I've already learned. And I feel like a lot of men nowadays, when it comes to getting into the self improvement space, they get for whatever reason they get lost. They get lost in information, right? And they always try to seek more information when in reality, if you've learned something that's good and you haven't applied it, then quite frankly, you should definitely have the application behind it, because if you don't have the application behind it, then you're obviously missing something, right? Not to say that you don't need to learn more. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, there's always going to be plenty of opportunity for learning. But with that being said, you must understand that there is something that is going to be greater, and like I always reiterate on this podcast, which is going to be being focused on your purpose and something bigger than your perceived distractions. Getting past those is going to put you in a better position, and also is going to tap into the divine masculinity that I'm talking about in today's podcast. Let me read some of these comments real quick. KJ, of course, holding it down as always. Got to give my bag no funny business. We got to, yeah, okay. We got to put in the work even if I don't feel like it, and I got to get the bag somehow, some way. I will get it, and I will definitely, yeah, exactly, for sure. You already know what time it is, man. Yeah, better habits and getting rid of old ones. Yeah, slowly developing discipline, doing things when I don't feel like doing it, then I can't. Exactly. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. 3 months strong, of course. Come on now. You know what time it is. The instant gratification, which we don't need that. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's all these things that I talk about are going to come with experience and come with, having those flawed application moments, right? Or where you kind of feel like you're regressing, but at the same time, at least even if you do regress, that you are indeed regressing, and it's something that you could definitely learn from at the very least. So, with that being said, just make sure you're not. Make sure. Here's the thing. Okay, what I will say is this. What I'll say is this. I'm kind of everywhere right now, but The more that I learned personally, right, the more I learned about certain situations, and what to do and what not to do. The second I started, getting off path and doing things that I know I shouldn't be doing, I truly felt guilty. So if you're a person right now who's struggling to, tap into the divine masculinity and doing the things that you know you need to do, right? At the very least, you should be feeling guilty for not doing it, right? There should be some type of remorse and some type of emotional reaction subconsciously, for you not choosing to do the things you know you need to do. And this is something that, I've I've been kicking my own ass for such a long time that, um, yeah, any time that I start to steer off, I already know that I'm steering off path. And yeah, I feel like everybody should be more conscious of this and, definitely respond to this accordingly, right? If you're doing something you probably shouldn't be doing, then you need to stop doing that shit. It's as simple as that. Um, Now, what I will say is, it is as simple as that, but it's not easy to do, right? Um, but yeah, that goes along with, the divine masculinity is just seeing those moments of opportunity and constantly making sure there's going to be improvement made when it comes to encountering a certain issue like that again. So yeah. Also, if you're in here, like I said, make sure to leave a comment. It looks like we have a few people in here, so say what's good if you're in the comments for sure. Also, make sure you go and subscribe as well. Come on now. You know what time it is, man. Make sure you go and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you go ahead and leave a follow if this is your first time in a stream. All right, give me one second. All right, so I'm going to give you some of my observations when it comes to tapping into the divine masculine, right? So, for example, right, with all the things that I had mentioned, right, these are all things that I've applied time and time again within my life, but now all doing it all together and consciously doing it as I've been doing it for, let's just say, about a month, roughly. With that being said, my confidence has been at an all time high. I've been able to do things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do in the past, right? And this is also going to come with just competence in general, right? Once you build up your competence, you're going to have more confidence in the things that you choose to do. And if you're constantly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, you're going to prevail eventually. You're just going to prevail eventually. Um, Something's going to click for you. Something is truly going to click for you. If you're in a situation where you keep making the same mistakes, or you keep failing in the moments of you being uncomfortable, eventually you're going to succeed, and you must believe that you will succeed eventually, right? So yeah, that is something that I've observed with, like I said, mentioning the first like five things that I had mentioned when it comes to tapping into your divine masculine. My confidence has been as high as it's ever been. So, and make sure you take care of yourself as well, right? Like I said, I got the fresh fade today. Come on, man, you already know what time it is, man. I had to get the lineup for the one time. Like I said, that was gonna go all hand in hand with, tapping into the divine masculine and, looking the part and also feeling the part as well. More importantly, all right, for sure. Along with this, when it comes to tapping into the divine masculine, I feel like this is also a look. This is truly also a look that you need to tap into, and this is going to be for me, something that I haven't really talked about on this podcast, but something that it has been relevant within my life recently. When it comes to tapping into my divine masculine, I feel more like a manly man, and this is gonna sound kind of weird, but hear me out, right? So I never grew out my facial hair from longer than 5 days, right? And then I started growing it out in November, and ever since then, as of recently, probably like I said, within the last month, I've been able to refine the look and adopt a new identity with that look. And with that being said, I do feel like I'm more in my masculine because I no longer look like I'm 18 again every single time I shave. So this is definitely going to give you some type of look. And if you're a person that has never grown out your facial hair, this is something that I'm going to recommend for sure. And to do it eventually, right? I didn't think that I was going to do it, but I just had a random impulse to do it, and then I was like, okay, we'll see how it looks. Will I keep it? More than likely, no. And then I ended up keeping it because I enjoyed the way it looked, and I got a lot of positive responses from it. But with that being said, like I said, that is also going to be tapping into your divine masculine. I do believe that there's I don't know what it is. It's a certain type of like look that people give you, like a certain type of respect or understanding of you in some type of unconscious way. Um, like I said, that has worked out for me, and something that, like I said, would define I would define to be tapping into the divine masculine. And if you know, you know, and if you don't know, then it's something that I would recommend you trying for sure. Also, with the divine masculine, it's also, like I said, looking the part, right? Along with having the masculine features that would signify that you're tapping into the divine masculine. This is also going to look in the form of your body as well, Are you a person that is truly working on yourself, right? So I'm a person. If you guys know me, you guys know me already. I've been going to the gym 6 days a week. So this is something that I'm constantly working on. I'm working on my body, and if you're a person that isn't working on your body, at least a few times a week, then this is something that I'm going to recommend for you. Do it by any means necessary, right? This should be an absolute essential to your life. I'm always going to be an advocate for having the most healthy lifestyle that you possibly can because I believe that it's going to reap you the most benefit in this life and is also going to allow you to live longer. And with that being said, that is definitely tapping into the divine masculine, especially with having that athletic performance and striving to be stronger and striving to be a stronger physical vessel for the ones for you yourself and all the situations that you encounter in life, and also more importantly with the ones around you, and being able to potentially protect the ones around you, and at the very least being at least a physical threat and avoiding certain situations that might happen because of the way you look, right? So yeah, that's definitely going to be tapping into the divine masculine. And with that being said, I want to mention this as well. Sometimes you feel like the hunter, and sometimes you feel like the hunted, right? And tapping into the divine masculine and doing all the things that I had already mentioned, right, is going to give you more of a hunter mindset, right? It's going to give you some type of feeling. I can't really I can describe it the best I possibly can, but like, let's just say for example, I get into or I go in a public place that isn't the gym, right? I automatically feel like I just feel different. I just feel like I know I'm more in my place of where I should be when it comes to the hierarchy of all the people that I'm around, right? And if you're a person, that is also pursuing the same things and has done some of the things that I've been talking about, then I'm sure you understand completely what I mean, right? It's a certain type of respect that people give you. It's a certain type of look. It's a certain type of acknowledgement that's very very subtle. But when you tap into the divine masculine, it's something that is just another day. And honestly, like I said, I wouldn't want to live any other way, quite frankly. So tapping with that for sure. Tapping with that for sure. All right. Also with the divine masculine. Give me 1 second. With the divine masculine, you also got to mention. I have to mention the counterpart, right? And this is going to be having the feminine partner right next to you, right? Being able to allow your partner to fall right into their feminine, or like I said, if you're whatever you're attracted to, whatever you're attracted to. If you're watching this, more than likely you are a man, and more than likely you are intending to try to be masculine, right? But with that being said, you know, when you tap into the divine masculine, you allow the woman in your life to really fall into her feminine by upholding your masculine frame. And upholding your masculine frame is just doing the things you know you need to do. It's just acting in the ways you know you need to act. It's simple as that. That's the only way I'm going to describe it. And with that being said, being that person that she could look up to truly in many different areas of life, right? Like I said, if something were to happen, you're going to go ahead and handle the business because that's just what a man does, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely something that I've seen within my own life, right? When I have tapped into certain forms of my divine masculine, right? Or when I have, just been more acting more masculine than I typically would. That is something that I've seen constantly. It's a very easy transition. It's a very very comfortable spot for women as well. They kind of just know what they know. They unconsciously, like I said, fall into where they need to fall into. They do the things that they know they need to do because they are understanding of the presence that you bring to the table. And um, like I said, it just allows them to be women. It just allows them to be women. That's ultimately what most women want to do nowadays. Is just truly be women. Um, yeah, and it's something that society obviously does not allow them to do easily without having some type of backlash. Truly, which is very very unfortunate. Something that I mentioned on my feminism versus femininity podcast. So tapping with that for sure. That's also a very very good listen for sure. But with that being said, I've seen it time and time again within my own life where I get introduced to a woman and we start talking, and it's just the interaction's so much better because there's that polarity there, the depolarization, pretty much where, like I said, you are acting the ways you know you need to as a masculine man, and with that being said, you're going to have the woman fall into her feminine and act the way that she knows she needs to. And then it's just something that's beautiful for sure. Quite frankly, that's the only way I could really describe it. Is just a beautiful interaction, right? And if you're a person who doesn't have that happen often. Like I said, tap into the divine masculine, and you will see you'll begin to attract women that want to be that for you, want to be that feminine figure for you. And I've definitely seen it time and time again within my life, thankfully. And like I said, it's been great. It's been great for sure.